As technology reshapes industries at an unprecedented pace, the ability to build defensible advantages becomes critical. Next, we have from models to moats winning in the AI economy. May I invite our moderator, Mr. Sumedh Sachdev, founder and CEO, Lucria Consult, a global business consultant and entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in cross-border transactions and advisory. He specializes in helping businesses navigate international markets. Welcome, sir. And joining him, Mr. Sandeep Dutta, Chief Practice Officer, Fractal Analytics, a seasoned global business leader and analytics expert. With nearly 3 decades of experience, he has led large-scale digital and AI-driven transformations, driving innovation across industries and global markets. The stage is all yours.
Namaste, Chandigarh. And to unpack everything about AI, I have Sandeep Dutta, COO of Fractal Analytics. We've spent about 2 years trying to negotiate with Fractal to get some time in his diary, and finally, he was able to say a yes. So Sandeep, I'm grateful, and so is Ty and everyone over here as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here, and great to be in Chandigarh.
Sandeep has an illustrious background. He's been in the industry for almost 25, 30 years, so he's seen AI being born from the early analytics phase to now the agentic phase. They have about 4,600 employees spread out in India and in US. Revenue is about 3,000 crore, somewhere in that range. The company became a unicorn in 2022 when becoming a unicorn was very, very cool. 65% of their revenue comes from US only. 92% of the revenue is from overseas, from countries other than India. 70% of the revenue goes into employee costs. Sandeep, if 70% of your revenue is going into employee costs, then is AI not being used in your organization?
Very good question. I think you've done a very deep analysis. And I think there is significant use of AI within our own company. I think the key thing is that unless you start using a sort of, as they say, eating your own dog food, you're not going to be successful. So for us, we have been reimagining the entire process that we run with AI. One part of it is what we deliver to our clients and how we deliver to our clients. And there, of course, everyone has read about how Claude Code and others are coming in and how much efficiency we are going to get into the whole job of coding. But leave that. For a company like us, our basic competitive advantage is our people. And we have been thinking about how do we reimagine the entire process of how we find people, how we train people, how we retain people. Because this is a knowledge working industry. And if you look at Fractal, we are very selective about the people we hire. Typically, our acceptance rate is less than 1%, which means that out of nearly 300,000 people are applying to Fractal every year. And we are obviously not able to talk to or evaluate every person, right? Which means that you're actually getting to that 1%, you're probably missing out some great people. So today, we are actually leveraging AI to evaluate every single person who applies to Fractal. Today, in our campus placements, we are leveraging AI. The AI is leveraged not just to sort resumes or select resumes. The AI is leveraged to actually do the testing. The whole test is generated by GenAI. It's a progressive test. The AI is leveraged to make sure that everyone is interviewed. So there is a video bot interviewing everyone and analyzing those profiles. So AI is all pervasive in what we do. It is in what we deliver. It is in how we run our own processes.
So Sandeep, is there a gap in adoption at the enterprise level, or is it, are we just rebranding a few things and then calling them just AI? Where are we lacking?
So I think let me start by trying to define AI a little bit. I think there is a lot of talk of AI, and what we are essentially trying to do is to get machines to do equal or better than humans in cognitive tasks. Right, and I think that attempt has been on for a very long time, and today we have reached a stage where I think on many narrow tasks, machines are doing extremely well. right? We obviously, ChatGPT is the flavor and everyone is talking about ChatGPT, but across multiple areas, AI is beating what humans could do. If we think of 22, November was when ChatGPT came out, and I think that is what everyone remembers. But earlier in that year, something even more exceptional happened. Google DeepMind cracked how protein unfolding happens. That is one of the biggest problems that are there in medical science, in biology, that one PhD student takes their entire 5 years to maybe understand the structure of one protein molecule. Google DeepMind could crack the structure of 200 protein molecules, and they made it free. They opened it out to the world to use. That's the power of AI. So now, fundamentally, I don't think it is about reinventing or putting something, or putting a clothing around something and a wrapper around something and calling it AI. I think it's fundamentally transformational what we are able to do. And in the growth of AI, I think we are a toddler. So as the toddler grows up and becomes more powerful, it's going to go exponential, not linearly multiplying. That's number one. Number two, what happens in enterprises? So the whole, at Fractal, we just work with large enterprises. And large enterprises are very complex organizations. The problem is less about AI or the power of AI. The problem is more about data. The problem is more about internal culture. The problem is more about adoption. The problem is more about human beings. How do you get human beings to start adopting something that may take their jobs away? So unless those fundamental problems are tackled, you will not get success. In a typical good implementation of AI, the actual modeling, the AI part is, in my view, 10-15%. Everything else, which is probably a little less interesting to talk about, is very important in a successful implementation of AI in an organization.
So you said that only 15% is the modeling part, is the small part of it. So then what is the moat? Are we talking about data? Is it workflows, or is it distribution?
So I think you have to start first from saying, what is the problem that you're trying to solve, right? There is no point doing technology for the sake of technology. So, and I'm talking about an enterprise context. I think it's equally important in the country or society context. Unless you are very clear on what is the problem you're trying to solve, and you define the problem well, you will not get to a great solution. I'll give you an example. We were working with one client during COVID. It's a large CPG client, right? And their problem statement to us was that, when in a normal year, a lot of our product sale is they manufacture chocolates, right? It's an impulse purchase. As you're waiting in the aisle to check out, you pick up a chocolate because you're third in the queue and you buy it. Now in COVID, with everyone moving online, we have totally lost this sale. How do we replicate this in an online environment? And we were trying to crack this problem. And then we realized that we are seeing it in the wrong way. We are trying to recreate a digital aisle, etc., etc. But what is the fundamental problem that the client has given us? The fundamental problem is, how do I increase the consumption of my product in an impulse manner? And what we realize is what we have to look at this problem differently. We take this problem as a problem of consumption. People, when they are doing a digital purchase of a chocolate, there is some time before the chocolate will come and they can consume. How do I make them consume the chocolate which is already lying in the refrigerator so that there is restocking? So if we reimagine the problem, then we will come with the right solution. So the first part is understanding the problem, reimagining the problem, and working backwards from that. Second big problem in organization is data. Data is not clean. Data is across different owners. It is very difficult to harness the data, and therefore cracking the data problem is very important to make the AI successful. But even more important than any of these is the point about understanding human beings. And I'll give you one more example. At Fractal, we created, this was in 2015-16, well before GenAI, when deep learning started working very well on images. We picked the area of radiology images. And we said, if this is so good, why can't it help us look at X-rays, CT scans, MRI scans, and auto-analyze those scans and give us the inputs? As we started working on that problem, we got great results. And on trials, against radiologists, our AI algorithm was doing much better, much faster in accuracy. And we said, fantastic, this is going to work great. And the first product that we launched was for X-rays, right? It could read X-rays in seconds. And our assumption was, if this is so efficient, everyone will adopt it. But as we started taking it to hospitals, we found that nobody was using that product. Because the big failure that we had was that when we were designing this, we never thought of the user. We never thought of the technicians who are in hospitals and what is happening in their daily lives. They get thousands of patients in a large hospital. Where is their time to learn a new technology, learn how to use it? We had to now reimagine a day in the life of an X-ray technician and make sure that we understood their workflow and we embed the technology in their workflow so that for them, all the complexities under the hood and they just have to press a button to get the results. Once we did that, we started tasting success, and today, this is called Cure.ai. It is one of the most adopted AI interventions in healthcare globally. It touches more than 30 million lives. It is in 90 different locations. So I think one ingredient that most people forget in technology is the user. And I think we have to start from the problem and the user backwards.
Superb. Great. And within Fractal, Sandeep, is there a vertical that you see that can break out into its own SaaS company in the future?
So at Fractal, we already have these examples. Cure.ai is one such example which has already broken out. It was incubated within Fractal. Then it started taking a life of its own that I described, right? It is adopted across the globe, and it has worked out to be a separate company with its own funding. We have a couple of other such ventures out in the areas that we have been working a lot in. So we work with many industries. We work with CPG industry, we work with healthcare. So in that process, there are already some of our ventures which are out. Another one is called Asper.ai, which is in the area of CPG.
Great. And how do you see India contributing in the global AI ecosystem? Is India going to become the back-end office of AI also, or are we going to be a IP generator, or where do you see our role in the future?
So I think India has a very unique opportunity because if you look at AI, what are the three things that drive AI growth? One is data. You have no AI which is developed without data. Second is compute, right? You need a large amount of compute. The new solutions of AI are all extremely compute intensive. The third area is algorithms. Algorithms are powered by human intellect. So if you look at human intellect, I think officially the numbers say we have the second largest pool of AI talent in the globe. I feel we are pretty much there on top because a lot of other talent which is counted in other parts of the globe is actually of Indian origin. So there is nothing holding us back as far as AI intellect goes. If you look at data and problems to solve with data, who can have that more than a country with 1.4 billion people who are generating data across? We heard such a great example of how agriculture and a farmer in their native language can now start harnessing the power of knowledge across the globe through the AI intervention. So I think in terms of data and problems to solve with data, we are also very big. I think where we have to probably build more is on the compute side, and I think the government has launched the India AI mission, etc., to work with startups and companies to help provide them the resources through compute so that they can build solutions for the country. In fact, Fractal has also been selected in the India AI mission, and we are building a healthcare reasoning model that can be leveraged to provide solutions for the healthcare ecosystem in the country. So I think India is in a very unique position to be ahead of the game in AI. Right? We don't have to be the back office. There's nothing wrong in being the solution provider to the world. That's an easy path for us. But we don't have to be just that. The problems that we can solve in India can be scaled globally. Right? If you can solve it in India, it can solve large problems across the world. So that's the opportunity. The good news is there are many startups who are already doing that. It's very positive. As I go across the country, I meet so many startups with such great ideas and great technology that it's a great positive for the future.
So if AI is reducing the cost of intelligence, Sandeep, what is the next scarce resource that enterprise could use as a competitive advantage?
So just to build on that, when we say AI is reducing the cost of intelligence, essentially we are talking about the inference cost. Because a lot of investment has already gone into building the foundational models which are available. Today, to leverage the foundational models and use them in a solution, the inference cost is coming down dramatically. So the cost of intelligence is coming out dramatically, but I think the rarest commodity that has always existed is the ability to use intelligence properly. So I think enterprises have to figure out which are the right use cases, which are the right business processes to start incorporating AI into, and start working on it today, because there is no time like today to start this journey.
And how long, this is slightly on the lighter note, Sandeep, how long before my AI agent starts expecting performance appraisals and performance reviews from me?
So I think that's a great question. I think I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I had to look into the future. But I think, to me, the way I'm seeing, we work with, I think, 20, 30 of the top 100 companies globally. These companies, many of them are not, I mean, they're companies that have existed for hundreds of years, right? So they don't change the way that they work easily. But we are already seeing that there's a big revolution coming through agentic AI. If you look at the evolution of AI, if I describe it very simply, in the year of 22, 23, we had knowledge systems. They are the equivalent of like a school student or a high school student. You're learning everything that is there to learn in the world. You're greedy about knowledge, right? So those models absorbed every bit of published word, which was available on the internet, and they gained every bit of knowledge. If you look at the next phase, that phase is like, a school student now going to college. Suddenly, it's not about knowledge and parroting out what you've learned, right? What, by the way, ChatGPT does. It has gone to the next phase, where now you're starting to think. Yes, I have this knowledge, but the problem is not just solved simply by everything that was done in the past. I have to think of a solution. Those became the reasoning systems. So that is the 24, 25, we saw the reasoning system come out, which take a pause. If today you go to GPT-5, it will take a pause, it will search the internet, it will come to some conclusion. Those are the thinking systems. Equivalent of a college student, maybe a PhD student, trying to think and come to a solution. And now we are gone, where we are going, where we are firmly in, are the agentic, this is the agentic age. What is in the agentic system? It has now gone from a college student to a worker, where now not only do you have to have knowledge, not only do you have the ability to think on top of it and come to some conclusions, you have to be able to act and get some results. So this is the age where we are actually going to start seeing very concrete results from AI, beyond what we do with ChatGPT, where we ask it to do some research, come back with some answers. It can start acting on our behalf. If I give a very simple example of what is the difference between an assistant and an agent, taking a very simple example, if in the morning I have this ability to tell my phone that, you know what, I have to reach office by 9 a.m., wake me up at 7:30, make sure you also, give me the latest news that there is there in the day and what is the weather. That is an assistant, right? It is bringing all that power to me and assisting me in me taking an action. What would an agent do? To the agent, I would say, my first meeting starts as 9 a.m. I have to go to XYZ place. I give the name of the place. And I want to have a coffee before I go. So the agent will figure out that tomorrow how the weather is going to be, what time do I need to start from home, where can I stop for a coffee in the way to make sure that I'm able to get to my meeting. So the agent will start acting for me. It will probably go ahead and do a booking for me at the coffee shop. It can go ahead and, if I'm running late, it can go ahead and inform the meeting that he's going to be 15, 20 minutes late. We have given that assistant now the power of agency to act on my behalf. And that's the future. And that's where we'll start seeing benefits.
Thank you. Very insightful, Sandeep. Last question. What words of wisdom would you leave with us, the entrepreneurial community of Chandigarh, Punjab, and Haryana?
So some words of wisdom I heard from Chima ji, which I wish I had incorporated. He said, when people start troubling you a lot, which I meant, I think, bosses and co-workers, you should become an entrepreneur. I think I missed that opportunity. So those are the words of wisdom I'm taking back with me. But my words of wisdom to everyone is that I firmly believe that AI is here and today and has to be leveraged by everyone. Large enterprises are trying to do it. I think there is a much bigger benefit for every entrepreneur, every size of enterprise to do it. I'll give you an example. My sister is an entrepreneur. She probably got more trouble by people and started that. But she runs a small business in Mumbai, and which is in the education sector. And she has to do a lot of advertising, right? Social media advertising. And she used to have these agencies. Every 3, 6, 4 months, she would be cribbing about how much time she spends with the agencies. Today, she has no agency. She's doing it all on her own. And what she's saying is that what I've been able to cut out is I had to explain, I have this thought and I have this vision in my mind of what I need to generate and how I need to pass the messages to parents and students. I had to explain it to someone who then explained it to someone else, and we had to have 5 iterations before the product came out. Today, she's doing it all through AI. And it is giving her a lot of saving, not just of cost, but of time that she can spend on her core job. So I think that's the opportunity for everyone. You don't have to wait, you can start using it today.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sandeep. This was very insightful, very value adding. I'm sure everyone over here will take this very seriously, and I think we've learned a lot from you today. Thanks a lot once again, Sandeep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I request you to please stay back, and I invite Mr. Ravi Sharma and Ms. Pooja Nair to please join us for the felicitations. Thank you, everyone.